It's your rock station, 99.7 The Blitz. It's Bodhi. We're hanging out at Sonic Temple 2023. Oh, it's so awesome to be back doing a live festival again here in Columbus. And look who's hanging out with us. Sully from Godsmack is here. What's up, brother?
Good to see you. Good to see you, too.
You know, we were just talking off mic about Soul on Fire, and I will apologize. I already told Sully, look, I'm sorry if I fanboy out during this interview. I'm a huge fan of this band. I've been on the freaking bandwagon since album number 1, and the line in Soul on Fire, I need you in the worst way. Oh my God, that just, dude, I get look, I'm goosebumping now just thinking about it. What was it? A particular person? Was it a particular event, a particular place that you needed so bad? Because for a lot of us, it's you guys that we need. It's Godsmack that we need in the worst way. And you guys are going to deliver tonight. What was the inspiration for that song?
Well, it's just simply about the element of desire, right? Whatever we desire. People desire different things, and you get aroused by those things, and you just want it so bad, and especially if it's something that you really crave, you know, you'll do kind of anything for it, including setting your soul on fire.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. 2 nights ago, you're in Tennessee playing live. Brad freaking Whitford from Aerosmith joins you guys on stage. I mean, we're both huge Aerosmith fans. I mean, how was that? All of a sudden, does his manager call you guys in advance to say, or you guys just find out that night that he's there, and you're like, dude, you've got to come up on stage?
Well, you'll find out tonight when he comes back up on stage with us. So there you go.
You just hear that?
But yeah, you know, we actually, me and my fiance and my manager and his wife and a couple other friends and their girls, we all took a trip to the Bahamas together, and my manager also manages Joe Perry. So we just kind of all got to know the Aerosmith camp over the years, and Brad and his wife Lisa came with us, so we spent 10 days with them in the Bahamas and just became really good friends, and I started talking to them about the Scars Foundation, and they were just like head over heels for it, so I connected them with our executive director, and we've all kind of been in the mix ever since. And then next thing you know, Lisa and Brad, reached out and just said, hey, we're going to come to Tennessee and Ohio and Michigan, and we're just jumping on your bus and we're going to hang. I'm like, well, cool, then we're doing an Aerosmith song because that has to happen. And that's kind of how it started, yeah.
How cool is that to have a friend like that in such a high place where you can just like, dude, you're coming up on stage and jamming with us tonight? I can only imagine. I mean, it must have felt something similar to meet the Aerosmith guys as probably the first time that you would have met Neil Peart, right?
Oh, I got to tell you, man, for me, it was like Aerosmith, as you know, this band's from Boston, and Aerosmith's from Boston, so they were my childhood heroes for sure, and I know some of the other guys, of course, love Aerosmith, because we all grew up with the same music, Aerosmith, Rush, Zeppelin, Sabbath, so it's still humbling and so, like, rewarding to know that we're still living out our childhood dreams 25 years later touring, and I remember Joe Perry is actually the reason why I wanted to be a rock star. I started playing drums when I was 3 years old, so I'd always been a musician. My dad's a musician. My great uncle was a famous composer in Sicily, so music's in our bloodline. But it wasn't until I was about 13 or 14 years old and I opened up the live bootleg record, and I seen Joe Perry holding up a BC Rich with his hair covering his eyes and the blonde streak, and I was just starting to get into weed, and I was like, that's what I want to do right there. So it was no longer about being a musician, it was about being a rock star. So yeah, ironically, Joe Perry is the one that kind of flipped me in that direction. And of course, we just have a lot of history from our childhood going to Aerosmith shows and things like that. So yeah, it's been very surreal. And Brad's such a nice guy, real sweetheart, man. We've just become really good friends, and it's just such an honor to share the stage with him.
Their latest album is called Lighting Up the Sky, and it is going to be their last studio album, but we want everybody to know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's not the end for Godsmack. You're just not going through the cycles anymore of album tour, nonstop, right? You're still going to go out and do some shows here and there, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. The band's not announcing a breakup by no means. We're just kind of coming to a realization point where, listen, we made ourselves a promise a long, long time ago when we started this band that you have to know when you've arrived, and you have to be okay with whatever level that is, right? So Are we going to go on to headline stadiums one day? Probably not. We're just an arena band, but that's a really good level for us to hit as well, right? And so when some people want a house and a white picket fence and a dog, and then they get that, then they want a truck, and then they want 2 dogs, and then they want a bigger house, and like, when does it end? So for us, we talked about this years ago, and we were just like, we have to find content at some point, or you're always chasing the tail of the dragon, right? And then you just never are satisfied. You want to get from clubs to theaters, theaters to arenas, arenas to stadiums. You want 5 tour buses, now you need 10 tour buses. It's like, I think for us, it's about enjoying the sunset years too. As we get up in age a little bit more, we want to be able to honor the catalog. We've been blessed enough to have people like you, radio and touring on our side, and that's kind of how we made our career. We never broke through on MTV and things like that. So it's just about honoring the catalog now. We're 27 top 10 singles and 12 number ones. It's like we could play 15 songs a night, just singles, and do back-to-back nights and never play the same single twice. So like, at what point do you just you go to your favorite shows, and like, I don't know, even with Aerosmith, right? All these years later, they have such history, and you're thinking like, well, do I really want to hear their new record? Like, yeah, new song's cool, whatever, but you're going there to hear Dream On and Walk This Way and Same Old Song and Dance. And so we just started trying to think along those lines, like, what do our fans want to hear? They're never not going to let us play I Stand Alone or 1,000 Horsepower or some of the songs that we've had some of the biggest success with. So it's like, we're just trying to be smart about that part, give the people what they want to hear, and also relax a little bit and enjoy these things that we've earned over the last 3 decades.
Sully from Godsmack is hanging out with us on 99.7 The Blitz. Now, I know that this, because you guys have such a vast catalog, I'm asking a couple of bands on this festival this question, especially bands at your level at least, where is it harder to come up with the set list when your performance time is a little more limited at a festival than it is when you're doing your own show, out at a venue somewhere? Is it more challenging that way? I mean, because you guys have such a catalog to choose from.
And it's like, even on our own show, we can't play all our singles, let alone some of the deep cuts that we really enjoy. So you just got to be very selective on, like, what do we feel the energy of this audience will be like, and what are the best songs to deliver. And the good news is that we can flip songs in and out. So if we get a little bit burnt out on playing Keep Away or whatever, or something like that, we can always we have enough material to be able to kind of pivot and do some other stuff. But as the festival set time, sometimes there's so many bands, they'll cut you down to 70, where we usually play hour 40, hour 45. Now we're even chopping off some of the best selects because, you got to get it down. And obviously, as you know, we do the drum battle, which is a feature in our show. So that eats up the time of 2 songs. So the way I look at it is, when we construct a set list, I just go, what is going to be the best flowing set list and the best high energy set list for this kind of an audience, and then we just roll with that and not worry about what we're not playing, but focus on what we should play.
Well, as much as I love the back catalog, too, I mean, I love Soul on Fire, and it's the brand new single right now. So is that in the set list tonight?
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, God, I hope they play it. I want to hear it so bad. Because I want to hear the live take on it.
If it doesn't happen tonight, and I hate to make excuses, but it's because of one simple reason. This has been a very challenging run for me, because a week and a half ago I caught a really nasty chest cold, and I've been working through it, and now with the pollen and everything in the air, it's been just chunky. So and that's a really challenging song for me to sing. So I'll know more about an hour before the show when I start warming up and seeing where I'm at. And if it doesn't happen, you'll catch it on the next one.
Right. Yeah. Well, they are going to be touring with Stained later this year as well, so there's going to be more opportunities to see Godsmack. Do you, at this point, just, outside of Godsmack, do you prefer reading a book or watching a movie?
Reading a book. Oh, well, I don't know. I really love features, too, but they have to be a really good one. But I like both. I would say watching a movie first, because now I'm kind of getting into audiobooks. I don't read any more because I fall asleep too quick. It could be in the middle of the afternoon. I'll read a paragraph, and then like I'm blind reading a couple pages, and then I fall asleep, and I have to always backtrack. It's a pain in the ass. Audiobooks are great. You can use it in the gym when you're cleaning up around the house, whatever, laying in bed at night. So I prefer audiobooks, but I really am a movie fanatic. So
What Sonic Temple? It's unusual in late May here in the Midwest, where and I'm sure even up in the Massachusetts area, that it's a little cooler than usual outside right now for Memorial Weekend. Yeah, well, it's 70-ish right now. It's really nice. By the time you guys go on stage later tonight, it could be like 55, 58 degrees. Yeah, seriously. No, seriously, Sully. There, look, he's going to let you know. Look.
you don't even know.
Where's my
Ladies and
phone?
gentlemen, okay, I'm going to show you. We're on at 7.
Show.
What does this say right there?
What does it say?
70? Right? Can you see that? Now let's just pan down to 7
Okay.
p.m. And what does that say?
What does it say?
67. Thank you very
67.
much.
God.
Good night.
See? All right. He wins. All right. But I swear to you. Okay. So, but that's still going to lead me to this question, though. What is the coldest show that you've ever played?
Oh my God! In Salt Lake City, Utah, during a snowstorm, it snowed on the stage, and as cold as it was, and as numb as your fingers were getting holding the guitar, it was so pretty because we videotaped it actually, and it was one of those snowstorms that was big, fluffy, fat flakes just really coming down, and all of those snowflakes sparkling off the light show was just magical.
It probably looked like a bunch of glitter coming down. And
Beautiful. Yeah.
I mean, was it sticking to the stage as well?
Yeah. It was.
I mean, did you guys slide? Well, yeah. But no, what I'm saying, like, was it sticking enough to where you guys could like slide across the
slippery?
stage?
Yeah.
Oh my God! As much as you move around, I mean, I'd be almost worried that I'd bust my ass out there.
Yeah. You got to be careful.
Well, these guys are out on tour. They're going to be out on the road with Stain later this year as well. If you've never seen Godsmack live, they've got to be on your bucket list. These guys never disappoint. They are so good live. They always put on a next level show. This guy himself knows how to work the crowd, and I can't say enough good things about Godsmack. You've just got to go see these guys live. And if you're watching this over at theblitz.com, get your ass over here to Historic Crew Stadium and see these guys play live tonight. Sully?